Hello, everyone. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. We're at Sunday, the December 27th. It's pretty much the end of the holiday season. We're finally getting through with 2020. As you can see, I got a papaka for Christmas. I'm shamelessly standing the Habib fan train. Uh, but um, but I'm not gonna be wearing this whole episode. I just wanted to show it off. And yeah, so today we're doing a Q&A. With a bunch of questions we got, mostly from friends and people like that. A couple fans of ours sent us some questions. There's something happening MMA related. There's obviously McGregor Poirier coming up, and then some other exciting shit. Anyway, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna pull up some of the questions. First, we're gonna shout out our boy from UHBJJ. He's a fan of ours. He sent us 6 questions. So Ali Ahmad, we can start off with: how did you guys get into martial arts / MMA? You can go first. We kind of been over this before,
Man.
so we can, yeah.
No, I've been watching MMA, man, forever, man. Like since 2004. So I'm a legit like an MMA damn near MMA historian. Not really, not like that. But no, I've been watching forever, man. And I just over time I started to get like even more and more into it. And then so like I was watching all the time, watching UFC all the time, watching all that stuff all the time. Long story short, my dad was like, "Oh man, like you like it," so he put me into a gym, and I've been training ever since. I had to dumb it down a whole lot, man. whole lot, because I go over the whole process so much.
On our first episode, you told us about how your dad was bootlegging shit on the television.
I'd say yes, yeah, exactly. No, I said to everybody, man, like, yeah, man, because we had like some bootleg cable, so we had free pay-per-views and all that. And then he was like, "Oh my gosh, bro, just look at this MMA UFC stuff, bro, it's crazy." And I was watching, I was like, "Damn, this is so crazy, man." So I thought, yeah, like the free cable man was hitting. I mean, the free pay-per-views, they were hitting.
What was your first gym?
Okay. Well, the gym is not there no more, but it used to be called Garcia Brothers MMA. It was mainly a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. But it was really fun. I really liked it there, man. I used to be training and all that. Like when I was not too young. I started when I was 14. So like middle age.
Yeah. All right. Well, for my answer, I'll dumb my answer down as well. When I was a kid, I did karate. I still have my red belt and my gi. I started from when I was 5 and went all the way to I think I was 9 or something. And I actually got really good at it. I won like 5 tournaments for first place. But there's like a kid there I hated, and I honestly just didn't like it anymore. Like I quit and I was done with it for a long time. I got into a whole bunch of like stupid martial arts online, like something called Ninjutsu Kugaria, which is like some Israeli ninja stuff. Some gentleman named David Haliva teach. It's like the guy's got a gun to your head, all that stuff, and a whole bunch of stupid bullshit. And I started watching Bruce Lee, and I was like, "This is the fastest man alive. This man is so fast that if he kicks you as fast as he can, the camera cannot see his motions." So that was my genuine. Those were utterances I actually made when I was about 15, 16 years old. Then I saw a Hoist Gracie video, and those like challenge videos, the Gracie challenges in the old green room in Torrance, and I saw him beat the shit. I saw Jason DeLucia wearing
Jason DeLucia
wearing the yellow trunks, and I was thinking that like this man is a gung fu expert who claims 16 years undefeated or something, 15, whatever. And I was thinking, this guy looks like Bruce Lee. He's gonna fuck him up. And then Hoist just grabbed him and threw him on the ground and mounted him and beat the shit out of him. And I was thinking to myself, this looks so messy and disgusting. And so like, because it didn't look like the clean like Bruce Lee shit, And I got more and more into it, and I was like, wow, this is real. So I was watching videos online and everything, and I convinced my dad, Dad, I want to go to this school called Leonardo Xavier LXBJJ. Shout out to the OG coach of mine, Hickson Gracie Black Belt. And he said, if you give me this old phone that I can exchange at T-Mobile for a reduced monthly payment for our family plan, I'll sign you up. So August 2015, I started very few classes because I was so busy with school and academic decathlon. And then in about 2017, I decided I wanted to get into MMA. And jiu-jitsu wasn't just all you needed. I transitioned out of that belief, and wrestling is important. And that's where I am now. It's been like that since then. So yeah, for sure. So thank you, Ali, for that question. We're gonna move on to
so Armand's story is funny to me, man. No, yeah, because he transitioned from one dogma to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. But it was a gradual progression.
Up until realizing like no dogma, period. Just like MMA, if it works, it works, you know. But like, I was hardcore like watching MMA, and I was like, this guy is gonna take him down and win. So like Hoist Gracie versus Matt Hughes, I was like, oh my god, what happened? And then I listened to Glenn.
If it makes you feel any better about that fight, Matt Hughes just out grappled him. So
well, that is how I made myself feel better. I made myself feel better, like, oh, because it was jujitsu that won. It just wasn't the Gracies who won, you know. And
yes, there it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But then you watch and you realize that shit is like stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what really got me out of that was finally accepting that Kazushi Sakuraba was smoking the Gracies just by sprawling.
I love Sakuraba, bro.
Yeah,
I love him so much, man.
That Sakuraba is literally
him.
like one of the best, like just the legends of MMA. Like Sakuraba is
he's a goat, bro. I mean, he just the goat. You know what I mean?
He fought everyone.
I love Sakuraba.
That guy fought heavyweights at like 160. Like
Sakuraba is just the guy. It's just Sakuraba, man. That's it.
He's I love him. But anyway, and watching Anderson Silva like do really well because Sakuraba and Anderson Silva transitioned me out of the Gracie hypnotic obsession. You know, the Gracie hypnosis. But I still have big respect for Gracies and stuff. Like one of my all-time favorite just martial artists is Rickson Gracie. Like that's not going anywhere. It's just I'm no longer like unidimensionally focused on their. You know, I disagree with them now that all you need is jiu-jitsu. Anyway, so now we can go on. The first fight you guys saw. Okay, Trayvon, you can answer.
So the first fight I seen, again tying into my story of 2004, the first fight I can remember seeing was Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz, the first one. The whole card, UFC 47. So I mean, that was the main event, so it wasn't technically the first, but I think Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler was the first fight. No, but I seen the prelims too. Whatever. I'm gonna say Chuck Liddell versus Tito Ortiz, the first fight, and Chuck won that one. He beat him up. Actually, it was a really good highlight finish at the very end too.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Awesome. I don't know. Okay, so I have two answers. One, the first MMA fight I saw where I didn't know what it was I was watching. I don't know if it was even MMA. It was a kickboxing K1 fight between Alistair Overeem and some white guy who got his ass kicked. I don't remember what happened, but I remember Overeem being humongous. And I remember thinking to myself, why does this guy sound like a woman when he opens his mouth and talks? I was like, you know how he has like that very high voice? You know, you saw the meme where Rashad Evans made fun of him, where he's like, Rashad Evans was mocking Alistair Overeem about why he left Jackson Wink or whatever. And he was talking like very posh, like as far as like the British term is concerned. But I remember him knocking this white guy down, and my dad and I were watching it, and we were like just like laughing at like how it looked like a huge mismatch. But I didn't know anything about MMA at the time. The first MMA fight I saw, I'm gonna go for modern, like with like regulation, not like UFC 1, because then it was just Hoist Gracie fucking a bunch of nobodies. But the first like real MMA fight I saw was Laverne Clark versus Frank Caracci. It was like a really old match. It was like Laverne Clark was like a wrestle boxer, and Frank Caracci was like some sideline, like some backup guy who they brought in instead of his actual opponent, and he was like a Japanese jiu-jitsu guy. It was just like some random dude wearing a gi.
What card was this?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I was just looking. That's the first MMA fight I remember seeing. Let me just look it up. I'll tell you right now.
Was it like on one of the old cards? Because these names they're not connecting, and I'm supposed to be the historian, so.
Laverne Clark versus Frank Caracci was UFC 18.
Okay. Yeah.
But this was. No, I say this is modern era MMA, not because it's modern, it's more pioneering era, but they had to wear gloves, and this was not style versus style. Laverne Clark was clearly a wrestle boxer, you know, and this guy was a jiu-jitsu taekwondo guy. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just one guy in a gi with like, you know, like no gloves on it. And I mean, Laverne Clark fought Matt Hughes at one point, I'm pretty sure, you know? So I'm looking at this fight right now, like, holy shit. This was the first fight I watched. Yeah. Where anyone here knew how to sprawl, knew ground and pound, understood submission defense, and could kind of strike. Yeah, that was the first one I saw. It really is unphenomenal and unimportant. It's just the first fight I saw. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think any of them have anything notable to add to the sport. But
yeah, man. At least my fight was really important. It was a cultural MMA fight. It's an important. Yeah, I know, right?
Okay. Which fighter, in your opinion, was champion material but never got to the belt in the UFC? Oh, I'm gonna have to disagree.
That's a good. Was it Ali asked that?
Ali, but you know who he said? I want you to guess who he said.
Rafael Assunção?
No, that's a good answer.
I'm sorry. No. That's me speaking. My bad. I just completely. That was my brain. Jacare?
No. Unfortunately, I disagree strongly. I know he's my Persian brother, but I have to disagree.
Oh, is that Karo?
No, Gegard Mousasi. That was his answer.
Oh,
I have to disagree.
Yeah, I agree. I disagree as well. No, that was a damn good question, Ali. Oh man, question. No, but I have a whole
list,
50. Yes, man. Like I say this all the time because it's very true. Okay, like they're like winning a championship. Obviously, is very difficult, very good, very important. But the dynamics of it are so weird and shift and all that.
Not always the best fighter wins. Like Ferguson could have been champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If TJ would have had to fight Cody as a number one contender fight, Cody would have never been champion.
Yep.
If Assunção would have got a title shot probably a little sooner, he probably would have been a guy that beat morale. You never know. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If any of the middleweights in the top 5 fought Bisping when Bisping had the title, they would have been champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can say a lot of guys, but I would probably say if you want to know the best guy to never win a title, I'd have to probably say Joby.
Damn. Okay.
In my him or Yoel. Yeah. Probably Joby or Yoel.
For me, this is such a tough one because there are honestly a lot.
Yeah, it is. It's hard.
There's a lot of it. Like Rafael Assunção, Tony Ferguson could have won a title. And okay, let me just get. He's not my answer. But let me get into that. Tony Ferguson won an 11-fight win streak in that division, and I think Khabib Nurmagomedov went on a 12 or whatever, something like that.
No, I think Tony had 13. I think
was
Tony
it 13?
Had the bigger. I think it was. I mean, I can check it real quick.
Literally just that the stars aligned for Khabib more than they did for, and they both had really fucking rough journeys there. Like Khabib should have gotten a title fight. A lot of times injuries got pulled out. If one of the times Khabib pulled out had been UFC 223, right? Ferguson would have beaten Ali Quinta and gotten the title. You know what I'm saying?
It was 12. So Tony had 12, and I just checked Khabib real quick.
Let me know.
So 12-fight win streak and freaking lightweight is ridiculous.
No, look, let me put it like this. If he had fought RDA when RDA had the title, that fight against RDA could have been for the title. So really, Khabib, in my opinion, was always a better fighter. But title fights aren't always that. It's literally who gets to plays the game, but it's a bit of luck, it's a bit of this, it's a bit of that. You know what I'm saying? Ferguson could have been a title holder at any point. You know what I'm saying? It's just that the stars aligned a little better for Khabib.
Sorry, again, my bad. But no, so Khabib had 13 fight win streak and Tony had 12, which is ridiculous.
So those are crazy, right? But either of them could have been, and they never even fought each other. I think Khabib obviously would have won, but they never fought, so we never know. Okay, but that's not my answer. I'm gonna have to go probably yeah, I'm gonna go with Yoel Romero. It's either that's a good because Yoel was just such a he's still he's gonna go win the title of Bellator anyway. But Yoel was just such a damn good fighter. Like I was watching his second fight with Whitaker yesterday, and just they were both. I mean, Whitaker was just built to fight Yoel. You know what I mean? But yeah, he really was. But Yoel just was, and he's such an elite athlete. I mean, he knocked out former champion Chris Weidman. He knocked out former champion Luke Rockhold. He damn near killed. It was like literally he missed weight on a short notice thing. He could have been an interim title holder against Rockhold. You know what I mean? I don't know. Very close.
No, also I myself tried to not do interim titles, for people who had it. But no, yeah. So Yoel gets to me, his skill gets underrated because his athleticism is so freaky. And I'm not saying that he's like a freaking just savant skill wise, but man, Yoel as a high skilled fighter with the high athleticism to build on that, and that's what makes him so freaky and wild. You know what I mean?
His most underrated thing is that he's very defensive. He can
Yes, he's super good defensively, man. Yeah. Okay. Also, his durability makes people forget about his defensive acumen, because he can just freaking get head kicked in the dome and just be like, oh, it's whatever. But like, it's hard to get to him. Like against Costa, when he had him against the cage, he was deflecting a lot of shots. Like, I mean, don't be against the cage. Like, his process might be a little funky, and his chin might can save him when the shot gets through or something, or he gets hit to the body or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But other than that, like, he's like Yoel Romero's a high skilled fighter with the ridiculous athleticism to make his kind of wonky game work.
The thing that always fucked Yoel over, in my opinion, or one of the things was, like you said, his process is funky, but just like read on where the fight is. It's like like against Costa, like I don't know that he has a reliable way to stay off the cage in general, but against Costa, it's like, okay, here's what it seemed like to me. Yoel would get on the fence, Costa would throw like maybe 7 or let's just say 11 piece combination, and of those 3 or 4 would get through. So that's a remarkable defensive percentage, right? And Yoel's thinking, wow, I'm blocking most of these punches, and then Yoel throws 2 and lands them both. So in Yoel's head, I landed all my shots, and most of these were blocked. But you still got hit twice as often. You're still getting hit. You're still losing. Yes. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like his read on that is like, oh, none of those hurt me. And the thing about Yoel that people don't understand, like he like his athleticism is very, very important. It's a very important attribute. But he's not an endurance fighter. But he deals with that very well. Like, it's kind of strange that they always say, like, in wrestling, like, I don't really trust for us the hobbies and analysis of anything, like, because I always end up disagreeing with him. Like, he says, like, and a lot of people have said he wasn't one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He was just someone who got off with his athleticism. But then, like, Daniel Cormier has said, like, he probably would have served me up in wrestling because he was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. But it's very weird to hear that because Yoel's honestly a very crafty MMA fighter. Like, in his game, it's like he
super crafty.
Yeah, and he works his game around his athletic abilities and limitations. Like,
that's how you do it, man.
Yeah, like, if you don't mind, he basically, like, people are like, why is he just staying there? I'm like, okay, so Yoel's defense allows him to stay kind of still and catch his breath, and his durability makes up for where his defense fails. The Krakens are like when he just eats a head kick from Costa or Whitaker and he's fine. You know what I'm saying? But like his guard is very good. His movement's very good. He does well with like he takes shots very well. I don't know. So he's gonna have to be my pick because he could have been champion when Rocco was champion. He could definitely have been champion when Bisping was champion. I think honestly he should have gotten a tie with Whitaker. I watched it again yesterday.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, because one of those rounds has to be a 10-8. I mean, he damn near killed Whitaker in round 3. You know what I mean? I damn near killed him
in round 5, man.
Yeah, there was a lot of resting in round 5, though. Like, there's a lot of, Yoel had control in round 5. So, round 3, he dropped him. Whitaker was all over the place, and then Whitaker lands that head kick. Yoel keeps coming. But then Yoel hit him with, like, 4 or 5 hard punches. You know what I'm saying? It should have been 10-8, 10-9 for 3 and 5 in a draw, and they should have rematched. Honestly, he just got better in that fight. I mean, like, you know, so I'm going to go with Yoel for that one. We should move on to the next question because we do have a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's my pick. And I hope he becomes champion Bellator just so he can say he was a world, quote, champion somewhere. Okay. Love you, Ali. Sorry to disagree with you. But Musasi's just not it. He's just not it. Sorry.
He's on the cusp of elite.
Yeah.
But not there.
Yeah, he fell short every time. Favorite division in the UFC and why?
Bantamweight right now, historically probably featherweight.
Mm-hmm.
And why? Bantamweight, they got the best fighters right now. Like, you can watch unranked guys and be like, man, these guys are cold as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Featherweight historically because, oh man, I'm like, well, featherweight or lightweight, or maybe even welterweight historically too. Well, featherweight because it had Jose Aldo there, and then Jose Aldo just had good fights for everybody, pretty much. But lightweight and welterweight are obviously super good there too as well.
I'm gonna have to go with probably bantamweight because it's so stacked. Like, I mean, Petr Yan's champion, but like the people underneath him are killers. And I would normally say lightweight, but I kind of don't know what I feel about the division right now. Habib is supposed to meet with Dana and talk about something or something else. I don't know if he's actually retired or not. I'm just going with bantamweight. Historically, it's been lightweight because it's such a good division. But bantamweight's good, featherweight's good. Yeah. And just because it's so good. I mean, the matchups there right now, Corey Sandhagen, Petr Yan, Jose Aldo's in that fucking division. We got Marlon Vera in that division. And we also have, what's the guy who should fight for the title next? Aljo. You know what I'm saying? And we got, and not even that, like, we got good, like Merab Dvalishvili in that division. Who's not, I don't even know if he's ranked, but that guy's just a pace machine. You know what I mean?
Dude, like, people that aren't ranked, dude, like, you could okay, the division's so good, you could have older guys come out of retirement like Faber, who also are legends, and still put up good fights. Like in any other division, old guys come out of retirement, they just like slop. They're just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, but at least Faber will come in and then like, okay, like, I mean, like he's doing like actively like reasonable. You know what I mean? Like bantamweight's just awesome right now. It's so good right now.
Absolutely. All right. Why y'all think Jones can get the heavyweight title?
Probably not. I don't trust Jones anymore at all. I'm not confident. And I will say because I'm not a big fan of Jones, so I don't want to let that cloud my reasoning. But even still, I'm not really confident in his ability to get the heavyweight title. No, because I'm not. To me, he's not the light heavyweight champion. Like he been lost that like many moons ago. So,
yeah. I mean, come on. How do you not beat Thiago Santos on one leg? How many people? Gegard Mousasi beat Thiago Santos. He took him down and beat the fuck out of him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, fringe middleweights, man. Fringe middleweights coming up and giving Jones a hard time. It's just that should not be happening. I'd say maybe, but maybe not. Here's why. I honestly, he has a better chance. He could.
But couldn't.
Well, okay, but he has a better chance against Stipe Miocic than he does against Ngannou, and here's my reasoning. At least I haven't thought about this a lot. Here's my preliminary analysis off the top of my head right now. One of Jones's things in the pocket is to stiff arm like this, cover up with the other side, and circle away, circle to the farther side, right? And he has gotten away with that so often because of two things. One, you froze. Give it a sec. Okay, yeah. One, he. Like people in light heavyweight just haven't had the skill to capitalize on his incompetency in the pocket or his weakness in the pocket, A. And B, like he was just a lot taller and longer than a lot of the people light heavyweight. He's not really gonna have that advantage, and honestly I don't think that's gonna work against Ngannou. I think he's gonna get hit hard over the top, like he did against Dominic Reyes, like he did against Thiago Santos, and I think Ngannou could just put him out. I don't think that strategy is gonna work.
Even against like shorter guys, man, that's not gonna work all the time. Because even DC could get underneath a little bit, probably work a little bit of work a little bit of body legs, jab at him a little bit. DC's like freaking tiny. I mean, for like heavyweight, like in terms of height, he's big, obviously.
Well, and
but no, man.
Go for it.
No, I was going to piggyback off you. Go ahead, you go.
And you know what else? Another thing about it, Stipe would even give him a problem because one of Jones's things, like as he's fought more, his game has become less surprising. And this is just sort of natural when you see a fighter dominate for so long. But one of the things he'll go to when people clinch with him is he'll give them the underhook and he'll crank on that overhook really hard and like turn. You know what I'm talking about? He'll like try and twist. I don't think he pulls shit off like that against big guys like Stipe. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean. I don't know. For me right now, it's a no. If Ngannou wins a title, I think Jones probably ends up getting caught in fights on slim margins there. And if he does get hit by an Ngannou, I think we'll see him get knocked out. And he's not looked as good. I don't think he's looked nearly as good in his past two fights. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not even sure he beats Jan Blachowicz. To be completely honest with you, like.
Man, I don't know if I'll pick him against Jan. I really don't. I don't think I'd pick him against Jan at all. Like at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, he got another like heavyweight.
I think Jan matches up. I mean, I think that's a good matchup for Jones in theory. Jan, like in theory, is a good matchup for Jones. But even now, I don't trust him against Jan, man.
Well, you know what I'll say. Jones got out of light heavyweight in time, man, in the perfect time because people are suddenly able to capitalize on his shit. You know what I mean? I mean, just yeah, I don't know. When you watch Thiago Santos harass John Jones' tiny legs, and it just seems totally stymie him. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so my answer is very confusing. Yes, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. And yours is a no. Is there an MMA fight that best describes your personality? Take this question however y'all want.
Again, like Ali with the really good questions, man.
They're great, yeah.
Okay, well, personality can be. I'm gonna go into existential crisis mode here. But a personality can be manifested in many different ways. But okay, one fight I like that probably I wouldn't say like manifests my personality per se. Well, it's a piece of it because everything can be a piece. But one fight I enjoy because it shows a lot of personality is Khabib and Trujillo. Because Khabib was just ragged on Trujillo so damn much and so bad. Trujillo was getting so frustrated and annoyed.
Yeah.
And even though I'm a person that really myself, I get frustrated and annoyed. But it's not like a core thing of mine. I could just understand and feel Trujillo, but I could probably feel Khabib too. Like his like insistence on just pushing people over the edge and getting them to and crack them and crack them and crack them, and Trujillo just being like, I hate this,
Yeah.
and it makes me happy. Hugo Armand, I'm gonna come back with something probably better.
So
but
okay, I have a question. So you're saying you can empathize with both of their, like,
yes,
okay.
exactly, yeah.
Sure. So my answer to this, I would have to go with Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Rose Namajunas. Maybe one, but mostly two. I actually empathize a lot with Rose Namajunas, to be honest, because both of us have had like extensive mental health problems. I don't ever get into it on this podcast, but I have a whole like a sheet full of mental illness diagnoses, and yeah, it's hard to live with, to be honest. And one of the things that I admire so much about Rose Namajunas is like you can see her anxiety and timidity come out in her fights. Like you have to corral her back into fights sometimes. Like in round three rather, against Jessica Andrade. Like you could see her corner not giving her as much advice and just trying to get her to stay in the fight, to stay in the fight. You know, and she started off rounds 1 and 2 against Joanna and their second fight very well, and then she does not take a body shot well. So she took these really hard body shots and leg kicks in round 3, and then in the second half of round 4 and all of round 5, she just bit down her mouthpiece and just showed a tremendous amount of heart and just took the fight to her. To be honest with you, that's something that describes her personality. Like I'm not like a lot. We've talked about this, how that's often a facade. Like all fighters get nervous. All fighters get butterflies. All fighters, they get scared. Even Darren Till said I was looking for a way out against his fight against Gastelum. But many don't show it. Some experience it more than others. Like it's hard for me to imagine that like Diego Sanchez goes into a fight feeling as nervous as maybe Rose has. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just different personalities. Some people are way more excitement seeking and aggressive than others. So I'm not like those people. I'm very timid. Before a jiu-jitsu tournament, the one that you came and cornered me during at Grappling Games, I was nervous as hell. My first match, I hyped myself up. I was good. I walked through that guy. It was like 16-0, and I choked the fuck out of him. My second match, this guy was a little bit bigger than me. I was terrified. Remember, I abandoned my game plan for wrestling, and I pulled guard. Because I thought, okay, I took him down. I've got my points. I'm just going to hold. I was terrified. You know, I had to work myself back into that match. I got my guard pass, and I swept him, and I took his back, and I got the points. I'm very much like that. Like, for me, it's always like, I'm going well. It's going strong. Some adversity happens, and then I psych myself out. I get anxious. I get really depressed. I'm on a low, and I push through, and I come back. You know, you've been there through things like where I'm at a club meeting, and I don't show up, and I'm asleep the whole time. And then I come back, and I'm all of a sudden, I'm this president again, just doing really, really well. You know what I mean? And that to me describes not my personality, but the dynamic of my life and my endeavors so well. It's like, if life is this big fight, I'm not someone who's persistently fighting, and no one is. But, you know, I dip and come back, and I'm someone who feels fear and gets discouraged when adversity happens. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that one is
man, because like there's so many fights that can like I have another fight, by the way, but no, there's so many fights that can like you can pick from. You know what I mean? There's so much things like, you know, like people gutting through stuff. You say I can do that. You know what I mean? I feel that people fighting somebody that's a challenge, but then solving the problem meticulously. You're like, oh yeah, man, I like that. That's part of me as well. You know what I mean? There's so many things you could choose from. So many little pieces you could pick from. But no, a fight that I just remember as you were talking, and it's a fight that made me feel like kind of proud of the guy. Like it was Cody when he fought Cruz. Like I'm not that big of a Cody fan at all, really. But no, when he was fighting Cruz, I was like, I kind of felt like for the first time in my life, I was like, oh man, I can like relate to Cody. I can feel him a little bit because he was like him fighting an all-time great and styling on him and like showing it and like putting it in people's faces, like, yes, man, I'm like showing you up, Cruz. You're supposed to be the guy that's showing people. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, I know, but like the one time in my life, I was like, Cody, man, like, okay, that's nice. You know what I mean? I can like and respect that. You know, him slowly starting to like place the chinks in Cruz's armor, let him know about it. I was like, okay, that's nice. You know what I mean? Again, there's a lot of different fights I could choose from, like 50 trillion. Like this guy toughed it out. This guy didn't give up. This guy was feeling bad and did this. And this guy, you know, got beat up and he wasn't feeling too good. And he, you know, I can feel that too. You know what I mean? A lot of different ways you could, you know, different ways you can slice it. But like, I guess we'll do that one for now. that one made me
Can I add one more thing to my answer?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
The second fight, and this one was made famous by Joe Rogan talking about it on his podcast. Darren Elkins versus Mirsad Bektik. Quick side note: they fucked up Mirsad Bektik's career by giving him too early to good people, and also he doesn't fight very intelligently because he can't sustain his output for 3 rounds. But like his last fight, he should have not have lost that. But anyway, anyway, like one thing I say, I'm just Darren Elkins. It's like I don't know, like people who know me really well, and you to a pretty good degree, like have seen like the things I've gone through mental health wise, just like in my life. And like, I don't know, just like it's not like the Habib type of tenacity where you get hit and you don't show damage against Gaethje and you just keep coming forward. It's like no, you're getting the shit beat out of you, type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you can't play with you can't even like, you can't like no sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Like, he was getting the shit beat. That fight should have been stopped, I think. And he came back and head kicked him and got. You know what I'm saying? That to me is like a perfect example of some of the things I've like I went to nationals when I was in high school for academic decathlon. I was the first person in my school to do that in 30 years, right? And I medaled, right? I'm not gonna get into what it was, but like mental health wise, I had gone to the ER twice because I was so underweight. I mean, I was suffering, man. But I still went out and I made history and I got a medal. It's sitting. You can't see it, but I'll show you. You know what I mean? I still did it, and so it's not like I could no sell it. People who saw me, they could tell there was something horrible. Like, as y'all know, I have Tourette syndrome, right? And so I do things like that. I make little noises. I do this with my face. It was so bad because of the stress of the time that I couldn't sit still. I was like all the time. So people who saw me knew I was getting like Darren Elkins. You know what I'm saying? But at the very end, I still won. You know what I mean? I still won. I still made history for my school. I still had one of the high scores at my school at the time. And yeah, so that's the other one that I would say describes it perfectly. It's not like a Ferguson type of thing. Again, well, no, he didn't win the Gaethje fight, so never mind. But you can't no sell him. He was getting the schnapps just stomped out of him. So yeah, that's my answer. Thank you for the great questions, Ali. Hope you like both of our responses. We're gonna move on to someone else's questions. I got some questions in today from Landon Richie, the GOAT. I gave him a shout out last episode. Let me pull them up really quickly. He sent it to me in a snap, so it was a screenshot. I have to find it. Okay, what is the greatest lesson you learned from being in MMA? That's a good one.
No, as you can see, you guys, we didn't see these beforehand, which I think is good. You know, that we can have something like on the spot. Again, man, there's so many like like little lessons and all that. I'm gonna just say the corniest cliche line possible. You're capable of much more than you could think of.
Yeah. Get into it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of little lessons you can learn, man.
Why are you more capable than you think?
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's a lot. Yeah. It's hard to single one out, man. But like when you like consistently coming and training and trying to learn and all that stuff, even if you're terrible, I'm saying too. I'm not even going to be like if you're highly talented or highly skilled or like highly like athletic or like highly like can pick up stuff super quickly. But if you just show up every day, even if you're like a trash athlete, if you like don't pick up stuff well, you're gonna just get good. You know what I mean? You're gonna pick up your skill set. And the thing, well, this isn't exclusive to MMA, basically anything really. But like if you just stay the course and continue to work on something and try to work on the craft and all that, you're gonna get better at it. And then one day you look back and be like, oh wow, like comparing myself to the beginning.
Like holy fuck, I'm a black belt. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, oh goodness, what the hell's been like 15 years? Like,
yeah.
I'm a black belt now, and like, this is crazy, and I'm good. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. It'll be like that for real. Yeah.
Yeah, that my answer is very similar. I heard this one time and I've never forgotten it. It's that you're not made of glass. You know, that you can take a punch. That if someone hits you, you don't have to go. You don't have to flinch and turn away. You know what I mean? That like actually you can hit back. You know what I mean? You get hit in the face. Oh, I got jabbed. Okay, my nose is a little red. All right, I'm fine though. My thoughts are still together. I'm not bleeding. You know what I'm saying? I'm made of tough stuff, and that applies to everyone. Like it's one of the sports where, like, if you're like short, stump, like tree stumps build, you're not gonna get in the NBA. Like most likely you could, but you probably won't. You know what I'm saying? Like those people who look short, like Steph Curry, are like 6 whatever. Like they're, you know what I mean? Like they look short in the NBA, they're actually huge. You know. But there's literally a fighting style for almost every body type in MMA, and you can be good. And to me, it's one of the great humanizers in a way. I don't know. yeah, I'm gonna go with you're not made of glass. Like everyone is tougher than they think, and that's almost exactly the same thing as what you said. Um, but everyone can take a punch. Everyone can hit back. People are stronger than they realize, and that is, of course, specifically and quite literally applicable to the training environment, but can be extrapolated and applied to anything in life. Like when you look at like the things that human beings, just like you and I, have gone through, people who were not born with more innate capacity for taking pains than either of us have. They are just human beings made of the same biological stuff that we are, having very similar backgrounds. You know, there are Holocaust survivors out there. There are people, I know one of my teachers, shout out to her, Almeda Crawford, who marched with Martin Luther King during the Civil Rights Movement. They are just like you and I. They're just people, you know, and especially in today's, like during the pandemic, people get lonely, they're stressed, they have a difficult time in school, their parents go through a divorce, someone died. They think the world is ending. Look, take it from me, take it from any, you know, just from human history. We are so much more capable of things, of taking pains and overcoming them than we think. You know what I mean? Everything we have is the result of that. The fact that we're talking over the internet right now, the fact that I live in a house with AC, the fact that anything you and I do exists is the result of human beings being creative and tenacious and strong and capable of taking punches and swinging right back at life. You know what I mean? That's, to me, the biggest life lesson I've learned from training and getting my ass kicked. And this motherfucker here, I was watching a video the other day, stuffing every one of my takedowns and just toying with me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's my answer to that. It's very similar to Trayvon's. And we appreciate the question, Landon. Yeah, he gave us one more, which is, what's the advice you would give to someone who's just getting into mixed martial arts?
Okay, so this, okay, man. Ooh, I'm gonna give a really big, broad answer. Man, okay, yeah. So I'm gonna give a super big, broad answer. So, okay, so obviously it depends on your goals. I'm just gonna go with the assumption that you're training made to get like good and better at it. Like to get like reasonably good. So like, it's important for you to learn your fundamentals and your basics, and you want to learn who you are as a person, personality wise. Not in terms of like, okay, you want to know that outside of fighting. That's very important for your life. But I'm talking about like fighting wise, like your personality fighting wise. Mm-hmm. But no, learn the other one too outside of your fighting. That's just as important as well.
That's life.
More
yeah.
important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But no. So you want to know who you are as like a fighter, as in like your tendencies, what you want to do, like
what you're good at, what you're bad at.
Yes, you know what I mean? And like naturally, because that'll help inform your game and help you flow. You obviously want to get better at everything, and you should try to get better at everything. But use your basics when you learn your fundamentals to supplement your like who you are as a fighter, and then you'll get better. So now that's like the technical advice. General advice: go about every day like with the goal of like with a goal. It's like big picture goals and small picture goals. So big picture goals, you're not really thinking about them like as of the moment. So you know, okay, no, I'm gonna tie it in. I'm gonna try to use myself as an example, something really simple. So let's say I'm just starting, right? And I'm like doing jujitsu, right? Boom, doing jujitsu. I'm like, okay, you know what? I have no idea. You should come into the mindset too of I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna get beat up a lot. That's fine. You know, it's part of the fun. It's fun. You know what I mean? When you learn, you learn. You know, it's part of the fun. I don't even think about it of like getting beat up. You're just learning the process. You know what I mean? Like somebody's on top of you. You don't know how to do stuff. Try stuff out. You lose. You get submitted. That's fine. You know what I mean? Things like that. But no, okay, back on the topic. So big picture goal. Let's say I'm just starting. Okay, you know what, man? Right now I'm trying to find out who I am as a competitor. So you just try different styles. You try a little bit on your back. Try a little bit as a guard passer. Try a little bit as a pressure passer. Try a little bit to be a submission hunter and all that stuff. And then you'll see what you pick up first. Pick up that you're good at. Pick up what you like to do, and then you can start to mold your game off that in a smooth and clean manner. You know what I mean? Like if you're a submission hunter, right? That doesn't mean you be reckless. That means you, okay, I put myself in positions where I'm still good and clean and safe, but I can snatch something. Boom. If I like myself front headlock stuff, you got to sprawls just so that way I can get people in the front headlocks. You know what I mean? Things like that. And then an overall, like I say, that's the overall like kind of gist of it. Like go in there with the process, the mindset to learn and all that. And
For
like
sure.
be humble, I guess. Even though like even myself, I'm not really that humble. But
no, this motherfucker thinks if he fought Max Holloway in a street fight, he would knock him out.
But no, like I said, I'm not really that humble. But like go in there, be okay with learning, especially like
and losing.
Be okay with learning
on the mat. Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
You covered what I would say. Those are like really good like like keystone things to give to someone when they're going in. There's obviously when you're a white belt, when you're a beginner, a novice striker, when you can't wrestle for shit, and you have no defense, you just get punched in the head over and over again by someone who's barely trying. Like, for sure, this isn't my answer. I'm just going to kind of recap what you said. Be okay with sucking shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're going to eat tons of shit in the gym at first. You're going to get submitted. You're going to get some asshole will probably bully you. Like, he'll submit you with his forearm and the thing. Some guy's going to have fun jabbing you and laughing at you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to have to take your licks. Like, you're going to suck at first. I'm not saying it's going to be like a negative experience. It's really usually not. It's just the nicest guy will easily submit you.
Yeah, and hopefully, obviously, this is not, you can't yourself can control this. Hopefully, your training partners are really cool and good. Luckily, I'm around some good training partners. But, like, you don't want to be at a gym where they're just beating your ass just to beat your ass.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be at a gym where you're just like, you're cool with the homies. They might beat you up a little bit. Oh, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, they're not trying to hurt me or nothing like that. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I will say this is kind of out of your control, though. You can't really help that.
No, for sure. But most of the time, it's a good experience. I've had some bad ones, but usually it's a good experience. But like, sometimes you're gonna roll. Oh, actually, in the beginning, when you start rolling or you start sparring or whatever, if they let you spar as a beginner, everyone you will go against will beat you, and they will do it easily.
All of them was like Anderson Silva. You'll feel like it, man. You're like, goodness gracious, man.
Yeah, you will feel
all
like
of these guys are insane.
That guy Armand, the other Armand at the club, I told him I was a white belt at the time, and he was like, he's from Iran, so he's like, oh my god, you had white belt? If you had white belt, what is a black belt? It was like so funny. Like, I was like, dude, you have no idea. Like, you just don't. But that's my thing. So just, you're gonna have to be okay with it and understand that you're learning. Like there's a learning curve. Like, when you're literally learning. Like, your brain is
like that with everything, man.
Yeah, exactly. There's a quote. I think it's by Epictetus. Is if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid, which is like to suck at first. But that's kind of to piggyback off what Chip said, but one of the pieces of advice I give to everyone, whether you're trying, like, if your goal is to go pro, to just fight in amateurs, or to get good at it, my only person I wouldn't necessarily recommend spending a lot of time this to is if you're just doing it as a hobby for fitness and because it's fun. Then I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right. But if you're looking to improve faster and you want to in any way be involved in even if you want to corner someone or watch fights or whatever, if you're looking to improve, listen, it's very important, because this is something a lot of fighters and even coaches I've come across do not understand. We're talking about this after we ended our podcast last week. Watch fights and understand what is actually happening between the lines. Understand the dynamic of a fight. Understand why it's so difficult for a guy like Tony Ferguson to get in on Justin Gaethje because he's getting countered to death. Why is he hesitating right now and he hasn't hesitated before? Understand that. Why can't Eddie Alvarez get in on, like, understand what about Paulo Costa limits him so much against Israel Adesanya? Did he suddenly decide not to go in and like he was being like Dana White saying he just got scared? It's like, no, he doesn't have it and he trained wrong against Adesanya. You know what I'm saying? He could do that to guys like who are fighting from southpaw and who weren't going to put the things in to stop him, who don't have the cage craft. He could just walk them down, but he couldn't against Adesanya. Like, it's the most important piece of advice I can give anyone who's looking to get good at MMA, and at whatever level that they want to, is to analyze fights and, like, try to go into training always knowing more than you're capable of doing at that time. Like, I know I can't jab yet, but know what your jab is. Know what it's supposed to look like. Know what, it's not just having a goal. It's knowing what it is you're trying to accomplish in a big picture sense. You know, always know more than you're doing at the time you're learning those things. You know, and you get that from studying fight, from reading, from listening to people, and just like, you want to be a knowledgeable MMA analyst if you're trying to get good at fighting. And I think a lot of people miss that. Like, fighters who say, I don't watch tape, I don't know, I just do what I do. I hate that. That makes me so angry. Don't do that. Watch tape. Understand why things work and why things don't. It'll help you so much. It'll help you grow faster. And if you take time off, it'll help you lose less. You know what I'm saying? It'll help you lose less information. So that's my thing. Be as diligent about that as you can. That's my big advice for if you're just now getting into MMA. So if you have anything to add, you can.
No, that's pretty much it. Like I said, and if you're just a hobbyist, a normal person, just show up to the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have fun.
Just show up. You know what I mean? You'll
have
fun.
fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now the hobbyist should still take the first advice. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll still get better. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you don't just show up and just be there. Yeah. But yeah, you don't have to be also like, man, I'm watched 17 years of footage. I know jujitsu from the back of my hand.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
watched all K1 Grand Prix from the first one to the, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what
Yeah,
I
you
mean?
don't need
But
to do
like,
that. But you should still take the first
yeah,
advice, which is you're going to suck at first. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah, and you should always compare yourself to how good you were before. Don't compare
exactly.
yourself to the
Yeah.
stud blue belt who's a high school college wrestler. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because people are just going to
Mm-hmm.
progress at different rates. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we have to dip into Charles asked us this one question: GSP versus Khabib, who would win that fight?
I gotta go. I have to go with GSP, man. I have to. And then too. I'm assuming all these matchups, whatever they are at the same weight. Like they're at, like they're hypothetically at the same weight. Unless they're
He
literally at the
meant
same weight.
155. Like if GSP cut to 155.
Oh, I don't. Okay, no. Okay, then I don't. I don't know how GSP would look at 155, so I'm just gonna assume he's gonna be bad. In which case, I got that take Khabib.
Well, that's less interesting answers. Let's just go with same weight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, same way. Same way. I have to pick GSP. I just don't think Khabib will get anything off of wrestling wise with GSP, and GSP will just control range and beat him. I don't have too many people I would pick over GSP head to head though. So yeah, so like that's not a slight on Khabib. Like very few people, like very minimal amount of people.
I've got to disagree with you. I gotta disagree. I
That's understandable.
Yeah. No, and okay, like, and I say this partly because of my fandom, but I say it for 3 reasons. I'm a fan, so I'm obviously biased.
I know, right?
Well, but you understand. I'm also a tremendous GSP fan. Whenever I hear GSP slander, I want to fight those people. I'm like, listen, you don't know what you're talking about. There's some idiot named Pieter, some guy on Jack Slack's Facebook who only talks a shit about GSP and how Gegard Mousasi was better. Like he says GSP fought nobodies. Shut the fuck up, you idiot. Okay, you don't know anything. Anyway, no, but look, here's why. Okay, one, I'm a fan. Two, I have such a hard time saying anything because I thought all these things about Justin Gaethje and he just ran through Justin Gaethje. But also three, I do think, here's what I think. I really just think Khabib would get a hold of the single leg. GSP's not impossible to take down. He can be taken
He's not impossible. He's just very difficult though. Extremely difficult.
Yes,
and
but
I don't see GSP getting pressed against the cage for things to make it easier.
He got pressed against the cage against Johnny Hendricks. No, he got pressed against the cage against Johnny Hendricks.
He did, but that's older GSP. Johnny Hendricks is very strong, yes, but that's an older GSP, a little bit worse GSP, not as physical GSP.
I don't think he works any wrestling against a guy like Khabib, and the only fight I can remember him doing well in where
I think he can take Khabib down in open space.
Yeah, but I don't think he works. Like, I don't think he gets work off it. Here's my thing. Here's what I think. I think of Khabib, because of his pace, eventually pushes Khabib, picks up a single and gets Khabib against what's his name, GSP against the fans. And in GSP's era, the cage grappling was not nearly as refined. So the best GSP did not have people in his gym with the cage grappling acumen that Khabib has. And I think on the ground, GSP is one of those people who does stay safe against Khabib, but I do think he gets controlled. And I think over time, Khabib takes over that fight. I really do. Especially with his wrist riding and stuff like that. Like, GSP's meta, especially if you look back at his grappling, and this is the thing, it's very impressive to watch him do things he does, but there are people in the UFC right now who would give GSP a hard time on the ground because they don't play into the guard pulling meta not the guard pulling, like the closed guard meta that GSP was so accustomed to standing up, high stepping over, knee slicing, and then taking your back. You know, I really don't I don't see GSP being able to get up against Khabib over time. I think Khabib pulls wrist rides, eventually takes his back, and I honestly think he submits him. That's what I think over time.
I'm not sure I can say that. I'm not going to be the proponent that like GSP can handle Khabib against the cage too consistently. I really don't see Khabib taking GSP's back or anything like that. GSP works in butterfly guards, gets some elevation, creates some space, in my opinion. And then also, I think Khabib's going to have a really difficult time just closing gaps on GSP because if he's so reckless with his gap closing, he's going to get reactive takedown. Not that I think GSP's going to do anything consistently off the top. GSP's just pretty much going to stall for a little bit until they stand up. But Khabib will not have control of the engagement, in my opinion, of that fight. And then I think Khabib himself will tire. And then they'll just kind of be sitting at range getting jabbed up for pieces of time. I don't see Khabib. Again, I'm not saying, okay, because Khabib is obviously elitist. They come. I don't really see Khabib getting GSP in any consistent, like, grappling engagements that favor him over time, that can wear GSP down over time. I see him kind of getting stuck, being like, okay, I'm getting stuck, so I have to commit to something, which is because Khabib is very smart and knows how to fight. And then Khabib closing gaps heavy to get to the cage, and then GSP taking him down. You got to reset.
Doing the game, got to take him down. I think he backs GSP up before, and I don't think. See, is what I think is he backs GSP up.
I don't know how. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know how GSP gets backed up consistently in the first half. Even if he fails his shots, he can reset back to the center. You know what I mean? Like if he gets stuffed, he just resets back to the center. Because okay, but even Abel Trujillo was able to buy some time. I know it's not the best Khabib. He was able to buy a little bit of time, just getting Khabib off of his takedowns, get some space. Nobody shoots on Khabib.
But I think he eventually gets. I really think he eventually gets a hold of that lead leg, pushes GSP to the fence, and then it's not that I think he's gonna just take his back easily. It's I think over time he'll work in those like. Do you know? I just see Khabib going for that. Like that he has the body lock against the fence. He tries to trip out the side leg, and then he ducks under it, gets to GSP's back, not with hooks in, but he gets GSP's back while GSP's on all fours. And I really think he just wears him out from there. I see GSP eventually getting stuck. He's very good, but I have a hard time pitting GSP against like some of like the best guys of today, just because they're like the things they can do. Like I feel like Khabib will eventually get GSP to the fence and will take him down from there and win the rounds. And over 4 rounds, he'll eventually get to a better position.
Like my main thing is not of the grappling contention. First of all, I think GSP is a good enough grappler to be, like you say, be safe and actually actively create space and get up. At the very least in the first points. I don't see him getting GSP to the cage in general in spaces and at time. Like I don't know how he bridges that gap consistently.
No, I think he can get takedowns from open space. I think he can work stuff from open space.
Okay, I just don't think I don't think he's gonna get any consistent takedowns in open space. Mainly because GSP just has such.
But dude, every time I've said he couldn't, he did. He open space, took down Conor, who's got very good defense. He took down Gaethje in open space, who has very good wrestling defense. I don't know, man. I have a hard time saying that he doesn't. I don't know. But also, I'm extremely biased. And it's never gonna happen. We'll never know. So it doesn't matter. But we can settle the disagree here because we're coming on an hour now. But we can settle the disagree. Yeah. And also, if they did fight today, it's not the prime GSP. It's not the same. And GSP would cut down to 155. So to be honest with you, if they fought today, I would just have to give it to Khabib just because of the age difference.
Yes, I would say that as well.
West, yeah. We'll do one more, and then we have to get going because it's at 54 minutes.
Oh no, okay.
And we got a lot of questions here from John. Actually, shout out to John Tran, War Training Center, Tomball. We're gonna go with question 7 of his 10, which is, let's say you Khabib, Michael Johnson, me in rounds 1 and 2. Then in rounds 3 to 5, I Condet Diaz you. Who would you give the W? Forget the 10-point must system. Judge based on your own criteria. You can go first.
Easily the Khabib Michael Johnson one. I kind of don't know how you can kind of, if you're judging like your own criteria or like who won the fights, like unless your only criteria is if in a hypothetical fight to the death who would win, even still, man, like. But no, yeah. I think even still with that, man, I still have to go with Khabib and Michael Johnson because the other guy's not even taking damage, really. So,
but in a fight to the death, there's no rounds. Yeah. You would never have even gotten up. You would just died getting pummeled around. Yeah.
Even if you did, man, you took like a life's worth of damage, and the other guy's just working, so you can just get your rest up and then come back. Yeah. So. I kind of don't know how. Yeah, I kind of don't know how you can do that. And even in an MMA fight. It would be 2 10-8 rounds to 3 10-9 rounds. And you still win that fight. So
yeah, I agree. Even at 10-8.
So no matter how you slice it, every single way you slice it, it's a dub for the Khabib Michael Johnson.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like I mean, look, that was there's some horrific beatings in MMA. That was one of the worst. It was Joe Rogan kept saying this is really horrific. That was like Khabib actually kept telling Michael, get up, Michael, come on, you have to get up, Michael. What are you doing? Work. Let me see you get up. Like I don't know why he was fucking shit talking Michael. Michael didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? But like that was just psychologically. Look, let me just play like this GJ one. I have the most respect for Michael Johnson that he got back into Octagon after that. Like, what would you like? I don't know if I could survive. Like, dude, I don't know. It's just like knowing that like I'm never gonna be good enough to avoid getting. I mean, he just got killed. I mean, that was like in a fight to the death. Let's say that round never ends, right? Let's say Khabib decides not to submit him. The fight just goes on until someone dies. He dies of like What? Like he just his brain stopped. He has a seizure and dies. I mean, that was so bad. There's no way you give like if Michael Johnson had 4 more rounds like Condit Diaz against Khabib and Khabib nearly kills him in 2 rounds, it's literally just like a fight where damage was done and you didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? It's a stupid thing to happen because Khabib, unless you're just tired or something. But I mean, how do you nearly kill a guy and then lose a fight because the guy, you know, danced around and, you know, basically like sparred with you like you were a beginner? Yeah, I think damage to me in those type of things is the most important facet. Yeah.
And I will go on a little segue here because it got brought up. But Condit did beat Diaz. Okay.
No, he did.
I just have to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's an old meme. But yeah, Condit won that fight.
Of course.
And then Condit did do more damage than Diaz as well.
Yeah.
I have to say as well. Yeah.
It's just when we're comparing it to like the thing that
No, yeah. No,
just
in case there's any Diaz 125 truthers out there still lurking in the shadows.
Or even like Kevin Lee versus Edson Barboza, which is another horrific beating. You know what I'm saying? To me, nothing really. Or like Cain Velasquez, what he did to Junior Dos Santos in like the worst of their 3 fights, which was just one of them. I mean, his face looks so fucked up after that. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, those are meltdowns that just shouldn't. Those are massacres. You know, you can't. Those are like they don't belong in the same fight league type of thing. So, yeah, John, thanks for the question, but the answer I think you knowing us both was really obvious. Yeah, so we're gonna head out for today, guys. Thank you for everything. Thank you for watching our Q&A. I'm gonna put timestamps in here for whose questions I answered and when. Thank you, Ali, for the 6 great questions. They were really good. Many of them were pretty introspective. Thanks, Landon. You are the king. Those were good questions as well. Charles, thanks for the question. You asked us back in like when was it, July, something like that, but we finally got to it. And John, June, my God, actually June 14th. So that Charles is from June 14th, 2020. You asked us these 10 questions. We're going to get to the other 90% of them at some time in the future. They're all really good. That was the simplest of them all.
It was.
Because we don't have time for the rest. Yeah, I appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please subscribe, share our videos. We appreciate you guys tuning into our content. And yeah, thanks. Okay, let me stop this. All right, man. Good shit.